That's the best feeling. Honestly, like you work so hard on these movies, and the truth is the goal has always been to try to like get them. Good to see you. The truth is you try to get them right, and you never know until you start to show it to the fans. And when the fans respond and they're so happy about it, it's great. And I think that, Stephenie and I were just talking last night. She's like, Chris gets such a tough rap because New Moon's like the hardest book to make, and he did such a phenomenal job. And now people are seeing Eclipse and be like, oh my God, it's the best of the three. Well, it's the best drama of the three. I mean, you've got all the romance of Bella and Edward back, and you get a bunch of action. So it's a lot of fun.
What have you learned over the course of these three? Obviously, Twilight started with an indie, and now you're up to this high-budget, big blockbuster genre franchise. And I was just wondering, what have you learned over this past 3 years?
I think the thing I've learned the most is you just can't lose sight of the core emotions of the books. I mean, Kristen and Rob and Taylor, I think they get a lot of credit as kind of like the fan thing, but in reality as actors every day they bring such emotion to these roles and such commitment to like what these books are about. And Kristen in particular, I love her because it's all about Rob and Taylor.
Yeah.
And meanwhile every day she comes to the set so committed to getting Bella right, and I love her for it.
Yeah. How excited are you to know that you can say, shout from the hilltops, it's Breaking Dawn 1 and 2, and we're going to be casting for it and bringing in these characters and these scenes that everyone's been begging for all this time?
It's a blast. I'm so glad that all those decisions have been made. We have so many more decisions to make. We're getting on a plane tomorrow to start scouting for Breaking Dawn. And it's like close the chapter on Eclipse and let's go on Breaking Dawn.
So what kind of roles do you think for Breaking Dawn are the most important to cast?
Good question. Figuring out Renesmee is the most important thing, understanding how we're going to pull that off. I know exactly how I see it in my head, but I don't think I see an actor that could possibly play it, so we have to figure that out. Really excited about Garrett, and Nahul, like how are we going to pull off that, because he's the kind of grown version of what Renesmee could be, so I'm excited. All right, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay, so you've been working with Stephenie Meyer on. I got to meet her last week, and we talked about how she was on set helping with some things, and I want to know what you're expecting as far as her producing on Breaking Dawn and how that might change things.
Honestly, I feel like Stephenie's been a producer on the last 3 films. She's so involved in every aspect of the movie, and she has such smart ideas, and she knows the books, and I think she's been on set more than any other author I've ever worked with, so for me it's not going to be a big transition. I think for her it's exciting because she learns more every movie, and she learns more about movie making, and I think she's having a blast doing it.
Right, we talked a little bit about her starting to write screenplays, which I thought was really interesting. So besides the Twilight saga, do you see yourself working with her on anything else?
You'll have to ask her. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. We have about 3 projects we're doing together, so
Awesome.
I'm excited.
Good, me too. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
You guys want to group together?
Yeah. Hi, Stephenie. How are you? I haven't seen you in years, literally.
Has it really been years?
It's been 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
We were on the beach at Portland filming Eclipse. Filming Twilight. That was the last time we saw each other.
It doesn't seem like so long ago.
No. Okay, so I have a question for you. Of all of the things in the movie that are a little different than the book, have you ever seen anything in the movie and you've gone, oh my gosh, I wish I wrote it like that?
In Eclipse or in any of the movies?
Any of the movies.
In Twilight, I really like the moment where she sees Edward in her room and flicks the light on and he's gone, and I kind of wish I would have had that moment. I thought that was really fun. I'm trying to think if there was something, in Eclipse, of course, we get to see the fight.
Right.
Which we didn't get to because Bella wasn't there, so that was really, really cool. I also really like all the things with Victoria and Riley that we didn't get to see in the book. But of course, now I have a book that you can see them in, so that's, not those exactly. We get to see Bree anyway. Maybe I have to do Victoria and Riley now.
Yeah, they've been speculating if they're going to be able to turn the Bree novella into a movie.
I don't know. On the one hand, there's plenty of action. There's plenty of mayhem.
And romance.
And there is romance. But that story is so the story is so tied to another story that you don't see in it. So then how does that play in? Do we just assume that people have seen Eclipse and they understand? Do we have to explain that? I don't know. So I mean, you'd have to have a director come in and like crack it, figure out how to do it.
Okay, and Wyck Godfrey came by and he hinted at that you guys have like 3 or 4 other projects that you might want to work on. And he said you got to ask Stephenie.
Wyck has a big mouth. No, I love working with Wyck, and he loves books. And so together, like, it started with me giving him a lot of books, like, oh, you have to read this, you have to read that. And now we've started just really early in developing maybe a couple things that we might want to do with some books that we think are really exciting. So that's a cool thing. That's a weird opportunity, but I'm really enjoying it.
Well, we are so glad that you published another book, that you talked to the fan sites. Callie's over here.
Hey, how are you? You are. They stuck you in the background.
It's okay, I'm told that I can get a really good angle for you.
Now, have you seen it? You've not seen it.
I haven't seen it. I'll sit in your lap.
You get to see it tonight?
We don't know.
We don't know. I'm so sad, but it's okay. I'll see it when it comes out, just like every other fan. I'm a fan just like every other
That makes me sad. I want you to go see it. Oh, thank you.
Thank you for stopping and talking with us, Stephenie.
What you thought about the backstories and how they came out on film?
I think they're really cool. I mean, between Eclipse, the movie, and the Bree story, we get a really full picture of what was happening, right? Because we get to see Victoria and Riley together in a way we don't get to see them in either book. We get to see the Volturi in a way we don't get to see them in either book. So the 3 of them are so complementary. I think it's really cool.
One thing I liked about Bree, and then I heard that you thought you kind of lost sympathy for Riley in the Bree Tanner story, but I thought the Eclipse movie kind of added this sympathy for him with the Jasper and Maria stories. I was wondering if you were a fan of the allowance of that kind of parallel, or if you thought that was unnecessary given the Bree story.
No, I thought it was great. I thought it was great because we don't get to see Riley. We see his effect quite often. And the movie does, I think you should have a sympathy for him when you see the movie.
Right.
When you know the things he's done, it makes it a little bit harder, but when you look at the kid he was and how far he had to go to become this dark person, I mean, that's always something I feel sorry for. But he turns into a monster.
Right. Last question. If you could cast Diego, who was some of our favorite characters in Bree Tanner, how would you?
Okay, I can't cast him today. I can cast him 10 years ago.
Okay.
Jesse Williams looks good to me for like, he also has a nice intensity, and especially in the eyes. So that's kind of how I see him. But, you know, he can't quite pull off 18 anymore. So it's too bad, right? It's too bad.
Like that Henry Cavill syndrome.
It is. I have not given up on Henry. There's a part for him somewhere. He's fantastic.
Thanks, Stephenie.